Hey, Grace Church, just wanted to share this week's story with you that you can apply to your children this week, and as always, apply to you as a parent in the way that you intentionally engage this story with your children. Because we say it all the time, you, the parents, are the primary discipleship makers in the home. What we're trying to do is equip you every way and walk alongside you in that. So today's lesson and this Sunday's lesson is Jesus stilling the waves and calming the storm. This is such a cool story because here we see Jesus actually living out his deity, like not just with miracles, and I'll get that in a second. So Jesus is teaching in Galilee, and they go out on a boat, and it's not like a little small tiny canoe, and it's not this huge ark. It's roughly about like a 20 to 30 foot size boat, and they're in the Sea of Galilee. And mind you, like Jesus and the disciples, a lot of them were like so used to fishing on the Sea of Galilee. So they were used to storms and everything. And an interesting thing that I learned was that it is 700 feet below sea level, and it's surrounded by like mountains. So at any point, like you can be calm and still, and then a gust of wind can like come out of nowhere, and storms were crazy. And people were very used to that. So like specifically Peter, for example, who was used to being a fisherman, like he would have expected random seas and everything like that. So they're on the boat. Everyone's freaking out a little bit because it's the nighttime. Also, as fishermen, you know that at night is usually when it's calm, everything like that. So it was crazy that you have this crazy storm that they're freaked out about at night. So Jesus is asleep on this boat, and the disciples are intimidated by this storm, and they're like, it's so crazy that they're rebuking God. They're rebuking Jesus Christ, and he wakes up and he's like, do you realize that we're perishing here? Like, come on, like do something about it. And Jesus immediately speaks to the storm, and he says, peace, be still. And it's so cool that the God who spoke everything into existence is also, and Jesus Christ was there. We see that in Colossians, Hebrews, Genesis. Jesus was there, and he speaks to this natural element. Everyone was in absolute shock because the one thing that we can't control as humans, like we like to control like our government or our national issues, but like you can't control nature. So they were intimidated by the storm, but they were more intimidated that this man that they've been hanging out with and following actually controlled the seas. I can imagine being there. I say this in this Sunday's video, like I like turbulence. So like whenever I'm on a plane, I actually get calm from it, like, and I can go to sleep. This would have been so much worse. And the disciples were like, this guy just calmed all of it. He has control over the seas and the wind and just nature. Like they were scared and terrified of that. So that's the story's lesson. It's really important that we know that having faith in Jesus about who he said he was, because like the disciples were there and Jesus says, did you not have faith? And it's challenging because we need to know that Jesus was fully man, but also fully God who had the authority to do all that. So we see a glimpse into his holiness and his power, and it's really cool because this is not just like a miracle, like I said, that they can almost wrap their minds around, but he controls something that we can never control. That's the beauty of who God is and who Jesus Christ is. So here are 3 lessons that you can ask your children going into this week that, again, create discussion with your kids. It's really important to engage them. All right, first question. What do you know to be true about Jesus? What do you know to be true about Jesus? Humanity, God, loving kindness. Have that discussion. Second question or statement is, describe a time you felt peace in a difficult situation. Lastly, what fears do you need to trust Jesus with? I think this is really good, especially in COVID season. I think we're all going through some sort of trauma and fear of uncertainty of what's going on. What can we lay at the foot of the cross? Jesus says, lay your burdens on him because his yoke is easy, his burden is light, because Jesus has taken all this for us, and we need to rest in that. So that is the story for this week. Hopefully you can glean something from it, but again, study for yourself, disciple your children intentionally, and until next week, God bless and take care.